The most important relief, I think, being offered now is the presentation at the temple. It's unusual in many ways because most reliefs are framed with the sculpture, with the figures raised in high relief. This one is cut out. In antique dealers' parlance, it's called the pork chop. The subject is very moving. It's the presentation at the temple. After 40 days after the birth of the child, Mary and Joseph went to the temple to present and consecrate the child. And the bearded figure whom Mary is kneeling before is the Rabbi Simeon. And Simeon was an old rabbi who had been promised by God that you will not die until you see the Savior. And when he saw the child, he recited the beautiful, what's known as the canticle of Simeon. O Lord, now let your servant depart, for I have seen the glory of the Lord. There's a very amusing detail. If you notice, there are really only 4 figures. Saint Joseph, the kneeling Mary, Simeon, Anna. But the sculptor added a little figure holding a candle. A little attendant holding a candle to illuminate the scene. One of the cute details also, in the Torah, parents were supposed to come with 2 turtle doves. Maybe the sculptor didn't get the memo, so he carved 3 pieces of bread instead. You know, it's details like this which really make it so charming. For me, it's very enigmatic that the central part is gone. The niño is missing. And you can see a peg that in Mary's arm where the niño would have been carved separately and placed in. And yet the patina of the piece is so even. So you can tell the niño was lost probably very early on. But it's a very enigmatic piece. Then we move on to the flight into Egypt. It's a very rough relief, this one. I would say it came from a provincial workshop. The proportions are really funny and everything is so horror vacui. It's all, squished into one narrow frame. You have the poor horse, he's bumping into Saint Joseph's staff. You have the plethora of angels. And then there's a crudeness to it. There's a crudeness to the carving, which you have to remember that it's been totally stripped. It was probably heavily painted in the past, but has now been totally stripped and polished. What I like about this is that it's very naive. It's very you can imagine it full colored, fully polychromed, and what a riot of color it must have been. It doesn't have the gravitas of the others, but it has that, what I'd say, look at the Virgin. They're all smiling in a way. Jesus, the little Jesus is holding flowers, and the 2 angels above are also holding flowers. So there's that wonderful folksy feeling to this relief. Plus the fact that it's classic example of horror vacui. Everything has to have a detail. Everything. It's carved in very thick molave in 2 parts with dovetails in the back.